Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome back. It's Mia. I am all dressed up because this is it. I bought this dress in 2019 and I've only worn it once, so I need to get a good investment on it. But I'm also dressed up because this is the video that you all have been waiting for. I just know it. This is my top 10 favorite movies of 2022. Now here is the criteria, right? Because these were the parameters for my favorite shows of 2022 as well. These are objectively just the movies that I enjoyed. So I'm not really ranking them by which one was better or some sort of Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm just saying these were my most favorite projects. That means I had to cut off Top Gun, which was a fantastic movie. It made a lot of, probably will be the #1 movie of the year. Waiting to see what happens with James Cameron Avatar. Also, I still have not seen James Cameron Avatar as of this filming, so unfortunately if you're watching this at some point and you're like, why didn't Mia put James Cameron's Avatar 2 in? Because I haven't seen it right now. We've still got like a week left in the year when I'm filming this. But that's enough for my awards banter. At the end of this video, winner will get to take home this random object that I found in my home, the golden tree. So this is what's up for stake, lads. My favorite movie of the year. Who can impress Mia the most? That's what this video is all about, and we're about to find out with our number 10 spot. So coming in at number 2, this is the movie that kicked Top Gun Maverick off the list. See ya, Tom Cruise. It's Sonic 2. When I really thought about it, as much as I love Top Gun Maverick, Sonic has been in my heart longer than any Tom Cruise could have ever been. And so that's why, even though this was a fine movie, I don't think it was a great movie. I do think it was a good movie. I just, Sonic has, you just have to understand how much of a part Sonic has been in my life. And so to have Tails into this mix and Knuckles the Echidna as well, on top of my ultimate James Marsden, you cannot go wrong with James Marsden. And so I think that's why I was like, okay, this is my number 10 favorite movie on this list, just because of the place that Sonic the Hedgehog has in my heart. Okay, my number 9 favorite movie of the year. I did not talk about this one at all, so this one is going to be a surprise for probably everyone. Weird: The Al Yankovic Story. I watched this film when it came out on the Roku channel of all places, and you know, Daniel Radcliffe did a ton of promotion about it, but I was just like, you know what? Let me tell you, this is probably one of the funniest movies in recent years. And it just reminds me of that time period in 2010 where we would just get a lot of Judd Apatow movies, a lot of Seth Rogen, a lot of Jonah Hill, every now and then a Will Ferrell. You had a lot of comedy movies in 2010, and that feels like it went away in the 2020s. So I was really happy to just see a wild and fun and all-out crazy comedy movie in 2022, and one where all of the jokes were so ridiculous that they stood out. So Daniel Radcliffe, he has really come up from Harry Potter, and so I really kind of just love that he went into this crazy role so well. He played it really well. It was really, really fun, and I think this movie deserves a lot more credit than it got. Maybe because it came on the Roku channel or what, I'm not quite sure, but this movie was really hilarious, and at some point I'm gonna have to watch it again because it was just that fun. In the number 8 spot for my favorite movies is Glass Onion, Knives Out Tale, which as of today, as I'm filming this, is currently on Netflix. I did a review of it because I saw it in theaters, and honestly guys, Rian Johnson pulled off this film spectacularly. It was a great sequel to the original Knives Out, even though it's a completely new story, but it's just so much fun. And I think Daniel Craig's character Benoit Blanc is just kind of like the pinnacle. He's the cherry on top of this kind of just, Rian Johnson creates these really, really crazy out there characters for these Knives Out mysteries. And so I think I'm actually going to see it again tonight now that it's on Netflix, and just kind of rewatching it with this great mystery in mind. And it's always great to come back and see a mystery when, you know, you kind of know what's going to happen, but now you can look out for those extra clues. So this movie was just superbly done. I'm excited to watch it again, hopefully tonight. And yeah, Benoit Blanc has just become one of my favorite characters. So movie characters. So I'm definitely glad that this one held up. Now in the number 7 spot, you remember in the number 10 spot, James Marsden, always been on James Marsden. Yeah, he's back with a vengeance because my number 7 favorite movie of 2022 was Disenchanted. This one came out over the Thanksgiving weekend. I got a chance to review that and tell you all my thoughts, but I'm sure James Marsden alone really kind of seals this as just kind of like, that's all he has to do is exist and this movie is already a winner. But aside from that, I just thought this was a really cute tale. I didn't really know what to think about it coming in because it had been so long since Enchanted first came out. And so I was like, Disenchanted, what more do we have to tell? Why do I need to see what happens to Gazelle and everyone after? But it was just really, really cute. They had a lot of great songs. Idina Menzel really shines in this as well, and Amy Adams shines. And so I think what puts this on the list really is the fact that I loved Enchanted so much that over these really more than 10 years, these characters have grown on me so much that I was happy to see them again. And I think Disney pulled it off really well. So it was a sweet movie, and I think I'll be watching it again soon. Coming in at number 6, I'm really kind of predictable because remember when I said I like Benoit Blanc as a detective? Well, I also like Hercule Poirot as a character. So Death on the Nile is my number 6 movie spot. Again, another one that took me by. This is a really surprising list this year. This movie took me by surprise because, I mean, Death on the Nile has already been done. I'm sure it was a great film, but it's old. I don't want to watch old movies. I don't have the I'm just saying, this Death on the Nile to me was fresh. It was exciting. It keeps up with being 2022, and it had a great cast between Letitia Wright, Gal Gadot, Kenneth Branagh was awesome as always, even Russell Brand. So you had a lot of great people in this cast, great memorable cast, great memorable characters. And even though I felt that the story was a tad predictable, I still had fun nonetheless, just kind of watching all the drama unfold on screen. So this makes me excited for another Poirot movie. I think that Kenneth Branagh has at least one more in him, so I'm like, okay, let's bring it on. Now we have reached the top 5. We're getting closer to that elusive golden tree. And in the number 5 spot, I award 5 spots removed as the Elvis movie from Baz Luhrmann. And for a movie that I watched on the plane, I really don't enjoy movies when I watch them on the plane, but this one was different because there's a lot of music going on, there's a lot of fun editing because it is Baz Luhrmann, and as someone like me who doesn't see a lot of Elvis, who doesn't know a lot about Elvis, I think it was, to me, a fun and refreshing story. Tom Hanks, his character was interesting because he was kind of pitted as like a villain, so I thought that was an interesting choice. The acting was kind of crazy and kind of wonky, but it made, I think for the most part, as I said in my review for this, it was a spectacle movie. I wish I could have seen it on the big screen. I wish I could have heard it with the music blasting and all that stuff. It was just a fun, enjoyable experience for me. And so yeah, another movie where I just had no expectation. I didn't want to see this movie, but I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. Our number 4 spot goes to Enola Holmes 2 with Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill. And I got to review this one when it came out on Netflix. I've talked about this one a lot as well, but I just love, you guys know I love Sherlock Holmes. I love mysteries. I love Victorian England. And like I said, I love Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill. So it's like when you mix that all up and you put it in a pot and you stir it and you send it to Netflix and you get it back in a DoorDash, it's a really good recipe. And I ended up watching this movie twice, once by myself and then once with my family. I just think Enola is such a charming character. You've also got Helena Bonham Carter as well in this from the first movie. The first movie was very enjoyable. This movie was just as enjoyable. And so it's just really charming. It's very sweet. It's a fun mystery. It's not a very cranial mystery, but all the while it's just kind of, you're just happy to be there. It's whimsical, it's light, and it's one of those other things where I'm like, I want to see where they take this next. I would like maybe 4 Enola Holmes movies. So give me 2 more Netflix and I'll be satisfied. Top 3. Coming at number 3, my 3rd favorite movie of the year, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I think what's funny is most of these movies I have seen twice, so that's a great criteria for how much I enjoyed it. And so even though it's weird that I've been on the fence about Wakanda Forever, but I think it's just because of the whole idea of Wakanda Forever having to be kind of readjust itself around Chadwick Boseman's death. And so even though it is really heavy dealing with these themes of death, I still think at the end of the day what makes it enjoyable is the heartfelt moments, the connections between the characters, and really gotta say Namor was a great part of it as well. I think I really would have wished that they gave Namor his own movie. I really just love those elements of creating Talokan, creating the backstory based on, you know, the indigenous history and all that stuff. So I just really love that Ryan Coogler was able to create not one fictitious society with Wakanda, but also then gave his input for Talokan. And so I just I thought that was what was really enjoyable. Really enjoyed the characters, the dynamic between, you know, also now Shuri and the Queen trying to come into their own after suffering 2 deaths, and how they try to sweep that together when they also have an attack from the guy with wings on his feet. But I wouldn't say it was surprising that I enjoyed it. I think it was surprising why I enjoyed it. And it's also got a banging soundtrack, so that's definitely got to be bonus points. So the number 2, the runner-up, my favorite movie of the year, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And again, a lot of these have some legacy points because for the longest, Doctor Strange was really, I wouldn't say my favorite Marvel movie, but because, as you know, I've been a Benedict Cumberbatch stan for 10 years now. I deserve a badge at this rate, or veterans discount. I think that has a lot to do with it. So I was just really excited to see him kind of come into his own next solo journey, even though it was split with Wanda. It was just nice to see him doing his thing again, even though he was also in No Way Home, which is also why I enjoyed No Way Home. So if you put Benedict Cumberbatch in it, I'm probably gonna like it. Probably. There's some stuff. Anyway, this movie I think was very fun. It was very inventive. I like that they brought Sam Raimi into it. He made it just all sorts of weird and unique. It had some really great, unique moments to it. And I was like, yeah, if I had to choose between watching Wakanda Forever again and Multiverse of Madness again, I think just because Multiverse of Madness is a more straightforward story, more interesting story, whereas with Wakanda Forever, I just don't want to cry again. I don't think I could take the sadness anymore. Not to say that it was bad, it's just, it's a heavy movie, Wakanda Forever. So I like that Multiverse of Madness was a little bit lighter in that regard, but you know, with the horror elements, it's still kind of fun and exciting. I think exciting is the best way to put it. It was an exciting adventure. It was fun to look at as well, very spectacular like. And so yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, this I think was my favorite Marvel project of 2022. Well, and now for the moment that we all have been waiting for. If you've been following my channel since the very beginning, I actually don't think the number 1 spot should come as a surprise to you, but the winner of the Golden Tree for this year, an astounding feat by all means, my number 1 movie of the year is The Batman. Stand up and take a bow. I guess I'll just deliver the speech for The Batman by talking about why it's my favorite movie of the year. And if you know me, like, if you can give me a character that I can latch onto and really love. I talked about this with Andor. I love Kino Loy. I've talked about it with The Sandman. I love Dream. I talked about it with Stranger Things. I love Eddie Munson. But so DC, they did the dang thing. They gave me a character that I could love and obsess over. And to me, Battison is just, it is just the peak of probably everything that I love in a character. He's weak, he's pathetic, he's wimpy, he's just feeling all sorts of feeling and emotions, and I can fix him. And I know it's kind of strange because you're like, that really just, man, what are you talking about? This isn't any sort of reason why you should like a movie, the least a Batman movie at that, you know, this billionaire, genius, playboy, philanthropist. Like, that's what you want from your Batman. And I say, no, I've had enough of it. I think to me, like, really what stuck out with Robert Pattinson's Batman was that he was a very emotionally vulnerable Batman. And as a Cancer, you throw in emotions in there and I am like all hooked. But in addition, I mean, I do think it was just a strong script overall. Matt Reeves really directed a fine movie. It had a lot of fine moments, a lot of quality dialogue, quality moments. Actors were awesome. Andy Serkis was in this. Zoe Kravitz, I actually tolerated in this movie. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was amazing. Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, I think, was some awesome casting as well. So there was just a lot of moments. Oh, how can I forget our dear Paul Dano as the Riddler? So there were just a lot of great little elements that made this movie strong overall. As I've said before, it's not the most perfect movie, but I do think to me, It was a mystery, so that's another element that I liked. I liked that this was a Batman that got to be a detective, got to solve some riddles and stuff like that. And in the span of like, I think 2 or 3 months, I watched this movie maybe 5 times just so I could join the 5-timers club. And I haven't watched it since then because I think I kind of like, you know, that point where you get too much of it where you're like, okay, I need to cut myself off from this completely so then I can come back to it later and enjoy it again. But I really, really enjoyed that film. I really got sucked into the world that Matt Reeves created. And I'm really great that they are expanding that universe as well into, you know, series and as well the sequel that'll be coming out Lord knows when. So that is it, guys. Congratulations to all the nominees and congratulations to the winner. I hope that Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson really, when they watch this video, I think they're going to be really touched to know that I love their movie so much, and as well as all the other wonderful fine actors and creators who contributed to my top 10 list. So I'm going to leave my antics there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please, 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 you know I want to know your top 10 favorite movies. Let me know them down below in the comments. And as well, we've got some other year in review stuff if you haven't checked it out before. Tons of stuff on the channel as this year is ending, or if you're watching in the new year, Happy New Year. What is 2023 like? Is there flying cars? Is Elon Musk still the CEO of Twitter? I have a lot of questions. Let me know if you're from the future. I'm excited to know what's going on. Like this discussion if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.